Welcome to Mr. Bones Wild Ride. Hope you're excited. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we'll keep on this one. I like it. We've got 2 mana rocks. We've got a board reset and Damnation, and we've got Ob Nixilis, so I'm very excited about this. And we've got a Scry land we can dump out on turn 1, which I'm excited about. So it's going to get the Scry going, the Scurry, the Fever, the Insanity, the Descent into the Sea with Mr. Bones. We do have Diminish. I think at this point, we're just going to put that on the bottom for right now. That is nice, but don't. That's kind of one of those cards we want to see whenever we have Skeleton late in the game. Whenever we see whenever we have Skeleton Ship on the battlefield. But yes, welcome to Mr. Bones Wild Ride. I hate to break it to you, but with Mr. Bones, while we still have Cell Signal, it would probably be good to let your loved ones know that you're never coming back. You're stuck on Mr. Bones Wild Ride. There's no getting off. If you want to get off Mr. Bones Wild Ride, there's unfortunately nothing that we can do about that right now. So it is what it is. But yes, call them. That way they know what's going on in case you never see them again. So, but anyway, we're riding on Mr. Bones Wild Ride, riding on the Skeleton Ship. In fact, if you want to ride on a turtle in the sky a little bit later in the video, sure, go for it. That's one of the fun things about being on Mr. Bones Wild Ride. So we're playing Skeleton Ship. When you control no islands, which actually we have no islands out there, so we need to get an island. I'm going to try to keep that in mind. When you control no islands, actually we'll cover that in just a second. Yeah, there's been a couple times where we go to play Mr. Bones, and I forget about the island clause because it is kind of a weird clause. So let's go ahead and dump in a Talisman of Dominance. I think that sounds good. And then we've got 3 mana, so anything else, we'll go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Skeleton Ship, Mr. Bones Wild Ride. We control no islands, sacrifice Skeleton Ship. Then for a tap-activated ability, put a -1 counter on target creature. Playing against Bladewing, which is a very... this is a very spooky match. I'm excited. Hopefully we get a pretty good game out of this. Playing against Bladewing. Let's see, flying in haste whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker. For each creature card in your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie knight creature token with menace. And so our opponent is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are looking at Bladewing coming down pretty soon, and it does have haste, so we do need to keep that in mind. So with Ob Nixilis, and this is actually interesting. So with well, no, we have Damnation, so we can hit the reset button. So let's go for, I think what we end up doing is we pass the turn, because that's going to be Bladewing next turn. Because we can go Ob Nixilis. And that's, yeah, let's do that. Let's go Ob Nixilis, because this way we get a card draw. And this almost forces them to go for, yeah, let's do that. Let's +1. Alright, draw into Imprison. Oh, that's perfect, actually. So we can end up going Imprison in the Moon on Bladewing, and that's going to take care of their commander, so I do like that. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you do use that link, much obliged. I certainly appreciate that. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If you want to play Magic Online, they've got you covered. And last but not least, I started a Patreon, so if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you find yourself keeping score on Mr. Bones Wild Ride, hey, welcome, and welcome to the ship. We're going to be here for a very long time. Alright, so we do end up getting Bladewing onto the battlefield, and so I think what we'll end up doing is we can go Damnation, and that's going to hit the reset button, so whenever they deal combat damage, so they will end up getting at least 1 zombie out there, which I'm not super worried about, because I do like ended up going Imprison in the Moon on their commander. So let's go and go for that. Let's see if we hit the land for the turn. I'd love to hit the land or some sort of card advantage. Alright, we run into an island. Alright, there we go. So we can get Skeleton Ship down. Let's go for an Imprison in the Moon on Bladewing. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3. Tap down Talisman, and then that's going to turn that into that. Anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. But yes, it is free time, and let's have some fun. So what are we doing with Mr. Bones Wild Ride? We do have a -1 counter package in here with Skeleton Ship. When I first built Skeleton Ship, because you can put a -1 counter on target creature, I went really heavy on the -1 counter theme, and it was good. But it's real clunky. you've got it. Some of these older commanders that are real clunky to play sometimes, you need a little extra help sometimes. And so let's go and lead off with Sunken Hollow, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So we're looking at a couple zombies out there. They're down to 5. Do you want to hit the reset button? We can go for Mr. Bones and then still get down, I think, Aura. This can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're actually one away from going for that. I feel like they're going to have some sort of spot removal. Let's give it a shot. You know, if they've got spot removal, so be it. But we've got the island on the battlefield, so we can go for Mr. Bones Wild Ride. Yeah, let's get down Skeleton Ship. Let's see if this is good. I feel like Skeleton Ship's going to eat a piece of removal. But if it doesn't, then we're good, because we can start to go for the Aura and put those -1 counters on their creatures. So let's see what this is. Our opponent's going to go for Vampiric Tutor, so we'll see if they end up grabbing some spot removal off of that. If they're scared of Mr. Bones Wild Ride, we shall see. But yeah, so this originally started out as a very heavy -1 counter. So if you're coming across this video, not via Halloween, but if you want to build Skeleton Ship, it does work out. You can have some fun with Skeleton Ship, but I will say this, you know, there's the -1 counter theme. It's just a little clunky if you go super heavy on that. So as the years have gone on, because I've been playing Skeleton Ship for probably about, oh goodness, probably about 5 years now. And so I found that, and that's going to be Chaos Warp. Ooh, there we go. Chaos Warp and Imprison in the Moon. Okay, so that's going to get their commander back, and on top of that, I think they get, what did they get? So Dark Slick Shores? I guess that would have came from us. I don't know exactly what, owner of target permanent. Oh, excuse me, duh. So they shuffled the, I was thinking they shuffled their commander into their deck, and then they got a Dark Slick Shores. I was like, that doesn't work that way. Okay, now I remember now. They they shuffled away Imprison in the Moon. So there we go. Let's go and lead off. I guess we'll just go and end up going for Damnation, because they did have an answer for that, that Chaos Warp. Or we can cash in a pretty good pull from tomorrow. I think I kind of like that. So let's do that. Let's go and pass the turn. We're going to take another 6 and another hit from our zombies. But at least we can declare a blocker on one of the zombies and then put a -1 counter on Mire Triton to stop that damage. That does give him an extra zombie, but if we're going for a board wipe, we can get that done. So yeah, let's go for a pull from tomorrow, because it's going to be a pull for 6 total card draw, and I like that. We could have gone for Damnation last turn, but I like seeing what we kind of rip into with pull from tomorrow. Maybe we can kind of get some spot removal and still keep Skeleton Ship on the battlefield. That way we're not having to tap out 7 total mana for Skeleton Ship. So let's see what this is. We've got the entire crew swinging in. Let's go for the block. And actually, yeah, I guess we just block on Mire Triton, because the Zombie Knights do have Menace. So yeah, let's do that. So we block on that. Oh, and excuse me, it's got Death Touch. Oh, that is a misplay on my part. We'll return Skeleton Ship back to the command zone. I feel silly now. I forgot about that Death Touch out there. Yeah, that was a misplay on my part. All right, and so they get an extra zombie out there. Let's go for, and I will say this, I'm recording very early in the morning. My cat got me up. And so where I'm at, it's about 5 o'clock in the morning right now. So not that that's an excuse for missing Death Touch, but hey, sometimes that happens. So let's go ahead and discard. I guess we discard, actually, because, yeah, let's get rid of Aura, because we've got Free from the Real, which is basically the same thing. So we'll discard that card. And then looks like we're still on the Damnation game plan. So we'll see what else we rip into. But at least we do have, we got Brainstorm. We've got Snapcaster on pull from tomorrow if we want to end up doing that again. So let's go with the Choked. We can reveal a Swamp from the hand. So we'll reveal the Swamp, so that comes into play untapped. Yeah, let's go Damnation. Let's kind of hit the reset button. Now, I would love to get some sort of counter magic going, but we'll see with Brainstorm if we can draw into it. So let's go for Damnation. That's going to hit the reset button. Is there anything else that we're going to dump out? So we do have to discard down to hand size. But if we're going to keep ourselves open on some sort of counter magic, I think we just end up discarding Swamp. And then we'll be able to hit something with Brainstorm to hit another land. So there we go. So we get Swamp into the graveyard. Pass the turn to our opponent. They do have an active commander, so they can tap out and get their commander back out, and it does have haste. And so if that does happen, we'll end up going for Brainstorm to see if we can't catch some sort of counter magic. And then, all right, so let's go Brainstorm. Tap down for blue. And then, ooh, there we go. Beautiful. Let's put Island back on top, Swamp back on top. Let's go disallow on Bladewing. And that's going to, yeah, I like that. There we go. Hopefully we can make up for that Death Touch misplay, but this disallow with that Brainstorm, that feels pretty good. And so that's going to send their commander back to the command zone. So now we're in a pretty good spot. So we kind of need to leave up 5 total mana for Snapcaster, and then we can kind of go from there. So we'll see what we rip into. But yeah, this is kind of where we want to be late in the game with a lot of mana and some good stuff to be doing. So let's see what we draw. I'd like to hit a Planeswalker. That would be just absolutely wonderful. We get some sort of stabilizing factor. So, but I forgot we've got 2 lands on top. So let's go and drop in Underground River. We are looking at 5 mana. Let's go. So this can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that'll cut us off Snapcaster. So let's drop in Lightning Greaves. I think that's good. Yeah, let's drop in Lightning Greaves. And then if we wanted to, we could Snapcaster for 4 with Pull from Tomorrow. If we wanted to do that, we'll kind of see what's happening. So anything else, pass it to our opponent. Now we do have Crux of Fate. Normally when you have Crux of Fate as a board wipe, that's a wonderful thing to have, but unfortunately it's a dragon deck. It's like either blow up their board state or get rid of their dragon. So we'll see how we can take advantage of Crux of Fate. But yeah, as far as the deck goes, when it originally started out as a pretty heavy -1 counter style deck, and it's just really, yeah, and I think we just end up going Snapcaster Disallow again. I like that. Let's go Snapcaster. Let's go Disallow. All right, Poto's going to scoop it up on that one. So technically, this is not a win. But if we got Skeleton Ship holding Bladewing back, yeah, I mean, we'll probably splice this together or something like that. But yeah, it feels nice as Skeleton. Let's get Skeleton. Look at this. When you've got the 2 commanders showing up, we get the Skeleton Ship win on that one. So anyway, if you enjoyed your ride on Mr. Bones, like and subscribe. Welcome to Mr. Bones Wild Ride. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, we'll keep on this one. I like this. We got some stuff we can do with this opening hand. We've got Thirst for Meaning, which is a wonderful card draw source. We have a little bit of a Spell Slinger and Siegemore Witch. And then we got some late game card advantage with a Stroke of Genius. So yes, we will keep on that one. Let's go and lead off with Dark Slick Shores. And most importantly, we have a Spooky Island for Skeleton Ship. That's going to allow us to get down the island. There's a lot of times where I play this deck sometimes, and I almost forget about the island part. And I'm like, ooh. Like I'll get ready to tap out, or I'll start thinking about tapping out for Skeleton Ship. And I'm like, no, we need to get an island down. That way our ship has water to float in, which is actually, flavor-wise, pretty cool. I kind of like that. So let's go lead off with Island. That way Drowned Catacomb comes into play on tap next turn. And then anything else, let's go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But yes, welcome to Mr. Bones Wild Ride. I hate to break it to you, but you've already clicked on the video. You're on the ship. You need to call your loved ones and let them know that you're never coming back. Let them know that you have joined the Skeleton Pirate ship and that you're going to be riding turtles in the sky and looking at moons and dolphins. And there's no coming back. But unfortunately, that's just Mr. Bones for you. But we try to keep it fun around here to make up for the fact that you have to abandon your previous life. And let's try to do that. So let's go and lead off with Drowned Catacomb. Let's go for Siegemore Witch. Our opponent is tapped out, so I do like getting this down and getting some pest tokens onto the battlefield. So that sounds like a plan. Unless they've got Force Spike. Let's see. They did pause for... Okay, that... oh, my goodness. That always... I mean, not that we can do anything about it when... the Magic Online pauses for them to have a response. I'm always like, oh, gosh darn it. All right, so we're playing Mr. Bones Skeleton Ship. Whenever you, when you control no islands, sacrifice Skeleton Ship. So if our opponent wants to wasteland our island, they can spot removal Skeleton Ship. For an activated tap ability, put a -1 counter on target creature. Playing against Niv-Mizzet, who's flying around the Skeleton Ship trying to see what's going on. Yeah, imagine the Skeleton Ship just showing up to Ravnica. And Niv-Mizzet going out to investigate. Hey, what's going on, pirate ship? The spell can't be countered. Flying. Whenever you draw a card, Niv deals 1 damage to any target. Then, whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, you draw a card. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you do use that link, much obliged. I certainly appreciate that. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders when you play Magic Online. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. But if you're keeping score at home, and you look like the drift of phantasms on Mr. Bones Wild Ride, then you are at the right place, and you look great too. That's a great costume for, oh, not costume, that's just a great aura for Mr. Bones. All right, so let's see what we draw into. We at least do have the lane drop for the turn. Let's drop in Polluted Delta. And we've got Flux. Do we want to go for Flux? We could go for Thirst for Meaning if we wanted to. We do have Menace, so let's just go and get in for 3. We're going to be able to get past that Defender with Flying, so let's go and get in for 3. And there we go, swinging in for Siegemore Witch, which is a very, very good card for the deck. But flavor-wise, Halloween-wise, yeah, we got a Witch on the battlefield. I like that. So let's go and swing across for 3. And nope, we got Menace. This Witch has Menace. Can't block Drift of Phantasm. So let's let our opponent. There we go. All right, so swing it for 3. Drop. I do that all the time. That's why I like Magic Online, because Magic Online sometimes like, hey buddy. You forgot to read the card. Okay, so yeah, do we want to go Flux Channeler? Yeah, let's give it a shot. If we hit the land for next turn, I like having 2 Spellslinger options out there, and then we can get the pest tokens going, and then we can potentially get down Skeleton Ship and just start proliferating with Skeleton Ship and go from there. But yeah, it's free time, so let's talk about Skeleton Ship. First of all, if you haven't seen this commander deck before, this is the first commander deck I ever put out on my channel, so it's probably been about the 5th annual 5-year celebration of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, 4 or 5-year celebration, somewhere along those lines. Yeah, because that kind of works out about 2018, 2017. Yeah, 4th or 5th edition of Skeleton Ship. And so it's gone through some changes over the years, but I always love playing Skeleton Ship. It's just a lot of fun. All right, so we do not run into a 5th land for the turn. Let's go ahead and push in. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go ahead and push in with Siegemore Witch. I like that. We could go for Lightning Greaves to have an option for Skeleton Ship, but, you know, if we're playing against some sort of spot removal deck, you know, we are playing it's a red color, so we do have to worry about direct damage, but I'm not super worried about getting Lightning Greaves. I'm more worried about a counterspell from our opponent on Skeleton Ship than I am some spot removal. So we get him for 3, drop him down to 34, and then, yeah, let's go and go for Thirst for Meaning. I kind of like doing this, because with Thirst for Meaning, yeah, because I realize we want to make the land drop. That's going to be important. We can proliferate if we want to on that Vivid Crag. I don't think we want to do that. I mean, we could if we were being nice, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to get the Proliferate going and the Pest Token. So we're okay with the Proliferate trigger. Let's get that Pest Token on the battlefield. And if we get a few more Pests out there, we can basically just push past a Drift and Phantasm. So we're going to draw 3 cards and then discard 2 cards unless we run... Ooh, Time Twister. Yeah, I like that. So let's go and drop... If we're going to be shuffling it back in, let's go ahead and discard Torment of Hellfire. And then let's go ahead and discard Stroke of Genius. Because either way, it's going to get taken away with Time Twister. So anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. Yeah, we can do that. I was trying to figure out if we wanted to Time Twister, but I think we can. I think we should. I like that. I think that'll work out. So, but yes, as far as the build goes, so it did originally start off as heavy -1 counter. As time went on, I went really heavy on that package, and it is fun, but it's a little clunky sometimes because you have a 5 mana Skeleton Ship that's, you know, conditional on having just, you know, an island, which is not that hard, but it's just, you know, these older commanders, they just take a little extra patience to make sure you have the right board state for them. And so I went pretty heavy -1 counter on it. You know, it was okay. It was very clunky. As time went on, I started just adding more and more control aspects, more Dimir control stuff to it, and, you know, kind of late game stuff. Snapcaster, counters, board wipes, card advantage. And so as time went on, as I added more of a black-blue control package, I realized the black-blue control package kind of took more precedence over the actual Skeleton Ship -1 counter package itself. And so we are still running -1 counter options in here. It's just this is a little bit more of a black-blue control deck first, and then, you know, Skeleton Ship is what I like to call like a hot tub commander. And this may, oh, that's Narset. I was yielded through the turn. Oh no, excuse me, that's can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Okay, there we go. All right. We still have Murderous Rider to deal with that, and I think we'll probably end up doing that. So do we want to, just in case we run into Brainstorm, let's just hold on to an uncracked Polluted Delta. But I do want to deal with Narset. That's going to be pretty important. So, in fact, let's go and go for that now. Let's get Choked Down. That's going to come into play tap. We have no island that we can reveal, so this kind of forces our hand. Let's go for Swift In. on Narset. That's going to be black, black, and tap down for blue. That's going to be some extra counters. We could proliferate on Narset if we wanted to, but we're not going to do that because I do not enjoy Narset. If we wanted to be funny, we could. If it was any other Planeswalker out there and our opponent was tapped out, I would. But since it's Narset, we are not. Alright, so we'll no soup for you, Narset. And let's go Swift End on Narset. We'll take care of that. That'll get ourselves a pest token onto the battlefield. And then anything else, we want to go to combat. So let's do that. So let's go and push in. We've got Siegemore Witch swinging in, and on this one, they're going to be able to block on Flux Channeler, but at least we're going to be able to get in for the pest token. So there we go. Got the entire crew swinging in. Anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. So probably end up cracking Polluted Delta next turn because I'd hate to run into some sort of can't search library, some sort of effect like that. So all right, so we got Drift of Phantasms blocking on Flux Channeler, getting in for going to be 4. So we do drop our opponent down to 30. And then anything else past the turn. But yeah, so basically it was -1 counter first, and then black-blue control after that. And so I ended up shifting it to more of a heavy black-blue control, and I feel like this is a great place for it. We still have like probably a, let's see, we've got 1, yeah, so we probably end up having about 6 or 7 or 8 -1 counter cards in here, kind of including Flux Channeler. And so what that ends up doing is it gives us an option to not have our hands so heavy with like stuff that cares about -1 counter. And actually with this Crux of Fate, this is perfect because we can destroy all dragon creatures. Now we do give our opponent an extra card draw, which is a little bit of a bummer, but being able to go for Crux of Fate, destroy all dragon creatures, I do like that. But yeah, we're probably running about 6 to 8 situational cards that care about a creature being a 1/1 creature or being able to put a -1 counter on them. And I feel like that's a good spot. Once you get down to about 6 or 8, that allows us to get into the late game, have Skeleton Ship down. When we draw into one of those cards later in the game, we can utilize it for, pretty cheap. So, do we want, yeah, let's go and drop in Fetid Pools because that is going to come into play tapped either way. So let's go and drop in Fetid Pools. And then let's untap for the turn. Let's go for Crux of Fate. Yeah, I do like that. And then, yeah, let's go for Crux of Fate. Destroy all dragon creatures. And we're going to get ourselves another pest token. Oh, there's never been a better, well, there's maybe been a better out there, but it does feel good. It feels good to be able to go destroy Niv-Mizzet and still have a pretty nice little board state. So yeah, we'll go for Niv-Mizzet, and with Disdainful Stroke, actually, excuse me, I was about to say we could counter Niv-Mizzet. But Niv-Mizzet cannot be countered, so I'm glad I read that. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on that one. We're going to get the board wipe on Niv-Mizzet. We're not going to win the game with Siegemore Witch out there and Flux Channeler. But, I mean, I guess this is a control win, so we'll take it. So we've got Skeleton Ship. We're going to be able to go for that next turn. We get rid of Niv-Mizzet. We got Skeleton Ship. We've got Twister that we're going to be able to go for. That's going to reset the hand. After we go for Twister, well... if we go for Twister, at least we ran into Jace, but yeah. So we refuel our hand with a ton of lands, and then after that, we're just doing what black-blue control does, kind of controlling the board state and digging out from there. So, but anyway, if you enjoyed Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, hey, like and subscribe. Welcome to Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we'll keep on this one. I like it. We've got 4 lands in the hand. We've got a little bit of late-game action in Torment of Hellfire. We do have some mid-game action with Shieldred, and we got a board wipe in Toxic Deluge, so I'll take it. So it's going to lead off with Halimar Depths. Look at the top 3 cards of our library, put them back in any order, and let's go. Yeah, this is pretty good. So let's go. We've got the land drops to make. Let's go Mana Confluence, Damnation, and then Thirst for Knowledge, and then anything else. We will pass the turn over to our opponent. But yes, welcome to Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. I hate to break it to you, but since you've clicked on the video and you've already made it this far, you're stuck on Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. While you still have Cell Signal, it'd probably be good to call your loved ones and let them know that you're never coming back. Let them know that you're on a skeleton ship, you're headed out to sea in the multiverse, and that you're going to be riding turtles in the sky. And see what they say. See what they say. I don't know. They may be worried about you, but hey, it's okay. It's Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. We always have a lot of fun. So, but anyway, it is what it is. You're stuck on the ship now. So we're playing Mr. Bones' Skeleton Ship. Whenever you control no islands, sacrifice Skeleton Ship. Then, for an activated tap ability, put a -1 counter on target creature. Playing against Jodah the Unifier. Legendary creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. Then, whenever you cast a legendary spell from your hand, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a legendary non-land card with lesser mana value. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. There we go. We got it. Let's go ahead and lead. They've got scrumlands. I guess we can, yeah, we're just going to lead off with Island and then anything else. Pass the turn to our opponent. Yeah, we'll be able to go for Thirst for Knowledge during our opponent's turn. And we should, I think Mana Confluence is on top of our library. So we at least know that Mana Confluence is on top once we do end up going for Thirst for Knowledge. So we did cover both commanders. Actually, we'll do that in just a second. Let's go ahead and go for Thirst for Knowledge at our opponent's instep. Yeah, I think that works out. So let's do that. So let's go for Thirst for Knowledge. There we go. Tap down for 1, 2, 3. And see what's on top. We know at least one of those cards is going to be Mana Confluence. We'll see what the other two cards are. Aura and Swamp. Since we do want to make the land drops, and I'm not super worried about being able to untap and tap with Skeleton Ship, let's go ahead and discard Aura. And we need to discard one more. We do have Damnation. Actually, I'd like having double board wipes on this one, so let's go ahead and actually discard Mana Confluence. Yeah, I think that works out, because I like having 2 board wipes. We're going to be able to end up going for Shieldred next turn, which is going to allow us to get that life drain going on our opponent. And we could try to set up Lightning Greaves on Shieldred, but yeah, I like getting this down, because if we're going to end up going for a board wipe sometime soon, I think we're fine with that. So let's go and get down Shieldred. If our opponent's got counter magic, so be it. And that's going to be Mana Drain for 4. All right, you got it, partner. And so we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors. TCG Player, if you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you do use that link, much obliged. I certainly appreciate that. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If you want to play Commander online, they've got you covered. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home on Mr. Bones' Wild Ride below the deck and you're waiting your turn to ride the turtle, well, don't worry, it's coming up soon. Just wait a little bit longer and you'll be able to ride the turtle. So, but yes, it is officially free time, so let's have some fun. And our opponent does name a human off of Cavern of Souls, so we'll see what they've got. But yes, Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. I've recorded a couple different videos of these. I don't know how I'm going to splice these together, so a lot of the commentary's got to be the same if I end up splicing them together. So I do apologize from the viewer perspective if you end up with a lot of videos where the commentary's kind of the same. And so, you know, I'm going for a showing, and always, you know, there's just certain things that we talk about as far as what the deck is capable of. And, but yeah, we'll go into it again. So if there's a spliced video where a bunch of them are spliced together, and I kind of repeat myself, hey, I do apologize, but this is kind of how the way live recording magic goes sometimes. So let's go and lead off with Urborg. And we could go for Polluted Delta, we could go for Skeleton Ship. And I think that would stick, but like I said, we're probably looking at Damnation or Toxic pretty soon. So let's just do some setting up. Let's drop in Gilded Lotus. I like getting ahead on mana. So let's drop in Gilded Lotus, let's drop in Lightning Greaves. That way if we get anything else down, we'll pretty much be good to go. So let's drop in Lightning Greaves and just kind of take the turn off and do a little bit of setting up. Anything else, we will pass it over to our opponent. But yes, with Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, this is Black-Blue Control. Now this deck did, and actually if you want to watch, this is probably the 5th annual edition of Skeleton Ship that I've done on the channel. 4th or 5th for sure. And so if you want to go check out some of the older videos, they're out there. To either type in Mr. Bones Jolt and you'll find the playlist, or Skeleton Ship Jolt and you'll find the playlist, whatever that may be. But this deck originally did start off heavy -1 counters. But as time has gone on, it has turned into more of just a black-blue control deck, which is a very good place for Skeleton Ship. So if you're thinking about building Skeleton Ship, if you come across this video via deck inspiration or wanting to see Skeleton Ship in action, I highly, oh my goodness. All right, let's see what this is. Hopefully we can catch a, we'll go for Damnation next turn. This could be Tameo. All right. So see what they end up getting for that. But yeah, if you're thinking about building Skeleton Ship, it's a fun commander, but you need the core of your deck. You need the, you know, the meat and potatoes of your deck to be black-blue control. It just helps. It just helps to be able to have some sort of control over the board state. There's just a lot of times where if you're going to go for Skeleton Ship, you want to be able to have mana to, do some of these. Let's see. All right, they tap down Gilded Lotus and Lightning Greaves, which is a little bit of a bummer on that, but we can get past that. But yeah, you're going to have some sort of control over the board state, and that involves counters, spot removal, board wipes before you get. You just don't want to get to 5 mana and roll out Skeleton Ship and keep your fingers crossed that it's good. It's just, that's kind of a clunky play sometimes. So it's going to drop in Underground Sea. Our opponent's tapped out essentially. They have no counter magic. I think what we end up doing is going for Damnation. I think that works out because Damnation for sure clears the board out. And then, yeah, that's going to take care of the the crazy amount of mana that they're producing with Elder. Send Jodah back to the command zone. And then hopefully, if we can rip into one of our draw spells. We've got Pull from Tomorrow in here. We've got Stroke of Genius in here. So if we can draw into one of our X draw spells, that will definitely allow us to get ahead on card advantage. So looking for that. So let's take a quick look at Tameo just to make sure we're keeping track. +1, choose up to 2 target creatures. Whenever they deal combat damage, you draw a card, so there's no creatures out there. -2, tap up to 2 target non-land permanents. They don't untap during their next untap step. And then for a -7, draw 3 cards. You get an emblem that says you may cast spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. All right, so we've got Tameo tapped down for 2, or ticked down to 2. And so we've got some time on Tameo. We're looking at a plus ability, which is really not going to do anything on the board state. So, and that's going to be Oko. So let's see if they end up going for the... Yeah, they probably end up going for the +1. Oh, they're going to make a food token. Okay. I would love to rip into some sort of Planeswalker removal. That would be very nice. I would love that. I don't really like Oko sticking around on the battlefield. That's not a lot of fun. So, let's kick it back over to us. So we're looking card advantage, Planeswalker, just anything other than a land. Let's see. All right, we run into Tezzeret. And if you control 3 or more artifacts. So let's go Tezzeret. Yeah, I like that. Let's go triple blue off of Gilded Lotus, because I'm not sure how long Gilded Lotus is going to stick around. Let's tap down for 1 more. Let's get down Tezzeret. They've got 2 cards in the hand. If they've got counter magic, so be it. If not, then we're going to go for the 0 ability to get some card advantage going. So let's see what this is. Yeah, they've got 2 mana up, so maybe they've got a counter spell. We did see Mana Drain, but if we can get Tezzeret to stick, we could, if we wanted to. Well, let's see. We'll see what this is. This could be Dovin's Veto. Yeah, that's going to get it on that one. Good job. Anything else? Let's go and pass it. Actually, yeah, we'll leave the mana up to represent some sort of counter magic, but leaving up mana to represent... Oh, and yeah, that spell can't be countered, so at least we can kind of leave that up and see what's going to happen with that. So, anything else past the turn to our opponent. But yes, as far as the deck goes, that's also the other kind of sub-theme that we do have in the deck. We are running Planeswalkers in here. We do have Tezzeret in here. We've got Teferi, the 4-mana Teferi. And in fact, let me get that pulled up real quick. I can't remember. I think it's Teferi, like Master of Time? Possibly. Let's see if that works. I'm over on... Yeah, Teferi, Master of Time. I do like Teferi in a deck like this where you're going for an activation turn after turn, drawing and discarding. Yeah, that's good. You want to have something... You want to kind of run Planeswalkers in here that are annoying for your opponent out there. You kind of want that to happen, so... Alright, so our opponent does end up going for the commander. We do have Toxic Deluge, which will hit the reset button on Jodah, which we do want to do that. Our opponent decides to turn Lightning Greaves into a Elk, which unfortunately, if we end up going for Toxic, that does take care of it. And I am kind of glad that they did not end up going for Gilded Lotus, but and just think about how nice an Elk version of the Masterpiece version of Lightning Greaves would look. But that looks pretty, it looks pretty gnarly. I'd like that. All right, so we're going to go Toxic Deluge on this one. We've got -5. Yeah, let's see. All right, so let's go Toxic. Yeah, let's tap down triple black. Let's go Toxic Deluge. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. So we're going to end up paying 6 on this one. So unfortunately, we do... Actually, let's set this up first. Let's see if our opponent balks at this. Let's go Lightning Greaves on Oko. Yeah, let's see. Go Lightning Greaves on Oko. Yeah, let's see if this sticks. Maybe they're worried about keeping Jodah on the battlefield, and they're okay with Oko taking 3. Either way, we're going to lose Lightning Greaves, the Elk version of Lightning Greaves. So we got the 3/3 swinging in. See if they decide to block or not. Maybe we get in for 3. No, looks like are they going to block? All right, there they go. I always like the the block of, oh, excuse me, they get to draw a card when it deals combat damage. Probably wouldn't have done that. Up to 2 target. All right, so they get a little bit extra card advantage on that. I guess it was worth the risk of ticking down Oko to get it below the -5. So let's go triple black on Toxic Deluge. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. We're going to end up paying 6. Actually, if we end up going, I think that's correct. If we go -3, -3, that should stick around. That should keep Jodah bye-bye. If I'm correct, Toxic's going to be -3. They do have 1 blue mana up. So we'll see. All right, there we go. That's going to take care of Jodah. Jodah's going to go back to the graveyard. And I guess we just go... Let's go Necro Skitter. Yeah, let's go Necro Skitter. We'll get Necro Skitter down. If they turn it into a 3/3, then we can start pushing in. And we'll just kind of see what happens. So anything else, pass it over to our opponent. But yes, with the Planeswalkers. So we've got Planeswalkers in here. We've got Teferi. We've got Tezzeret, as you can see. We do have Jason here, the Mind Sculptor, and we do have Ob Nixilis, 5 mana black Ob Nixilis that allows us to go for card draw and go for spot removal, which is a very nice thing. And actually, I lost my deck list, so I'm going to grab that real quick. There we go. I don't think our opponent did anything, but I had to go over to our deck list real quick. But yeah, we got the Planeswalkers in here, Ob Nixilis. Let's see. We've got Tezzeret, Jace, Teferi, and I think that's it. I did add some kind of nice mid-range threats to the deck. We did see Sheoldred earlier in the game. Just kind of a, something to get down and just be a little bit of a nuisance for our opponent. And our opponent does end up going for the -5. Exchange control of target artifact or creature you control with power 3 or less. So they do take our Necro Skitter. That's really not the end of the world. Necro Skitter is one of those, it's just kind of... It's just there. It works out with Teferi. I mean, it works out with the skeleton ships. It's always nice to see that. And the good thing is, with that being a -2, now they can go for the +1 to turn skeleton ship into an elk, which I'm not really super wild about. Not thrilled about that. So we'll see about because tapping out 5 mana to get a 3/3 elk with a 1/4 out there. Yeah, doesn't really sound like a lot of fun. So let's see what we can draw into. Love to hit some card advantage. All right, so we run into Vampiric Tutor. While we still have a Gilded Lotus, do we want to end up going for Torment of Hellfire? Because then we can Vampiric Tutor for Pull from Tomorrow, and that'll be 2 tap-out turns. Actually, I think I kind of like that. If our opponent's got any sort of... Yeah, let's go for this. This is not going to win the game, but I do like tapping out for this. But we do need to leave up 1 mana if we wanted to... Actually, let's just hold on to it. Let's just pass the turn. Let's pass the turn. We got Vampiric Tutor on Pull from Tomorrow. That's going to be a really big chunk of mana. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that they don't go for the Oko on Gilded Lotus. If they do, I mean, that would definitely be a very good option for them to go for. And then that Pull from Tomorrow turns into really good into just 4 cards, but it's still better than nothing. So we'll see what else we can assemble. If they do end up getting Jodah down, that is a little bit of a worry for us because we don't really have any more spot removal and we really need to cash in some card advantage. All right, so they do end up going for that. Let's go and tap down triple black. Let's go Vampiric Tutor. And I think we just still end up going Pull from Tomorrow and hope they just do a lot of stuff this turn. I mean, maybe they've got counter magic. We'll see. We're going to try to... Yeah, there we go. All right, so we do get it to stick. Let's go ahead and grab Pull from Tomorrow. Not super wild about this play, but we need to get some card advantage. And so, got to do what we got to do. And let's go ahead and crack the Clue token. That way we just gain 3 life with that extra mana. So there we go. All right, so Oko's going to turn a Gilded Lotus into a 3/3 elk. And then that puts us on really just having 5 mana for Skeleton Ship. And then we're looking at... If we hit the land next turn... No, we're not going to hit the land because we have Pull from Tomorrow on top of our library. So we're looking at Pull from Tomorrow for like 4... Worse things could be done, but let's wait until our opponent kind of gets jammed up on something. So, and we're looking at a 3/3 right now. I don't really want to swing into that, so I guess what we'll end up doing is just kind of passing the turn over to our opponent. So if they end up tapping out below any certain sort of threshold, then we'll go for Pull from Tomorrow for 4. But based on the way things are going with having Tamiyo on the battlefield and Oko, not super wild about how this game is playing out. So we'll see what we can do on this one. But yeah, we'll try to jam that pull from tomorrow. Outside of the Planeswalkers, we are running a little bit of Spellslinger in here. Little bit. We've got Siege More Witch in here. We've got, where are you? We've got Poppet Stitcher in here. We've got Archmage, 4-mana Archmage, which allows us to go for some card advantage. And then I think that's it on Spellslinger. Yeah, that's it. I did add Toxrill, the Corrosive, to the deck. And Toxrill is almost kind of like Commander B for the deck. You know, it's not really something that we're trying to search up and get down all the time. But it is something that... you know, let's say we get Skeleton Ship down and something happens to Skeleton Ship, then we can, you know, we rip into Toxrill, then we can just kind of run it out and get those counters going. But other than that, I think I kind of covered everything. As far as the support package for Skeleton Ship, the things that I have found, yeah, and let's go and tap out in response to this. So let's go blue, let's tap down black, go for one more blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, there we go. Pull from tomorrow for 4. Not the best pull from tomorrow, but we're... got to get something moving on our side of the battlefield, so we'll be able to draw 4 cards. That is double Planeswalker removal. I will take it. All right, so let's go ahead and discard. I'm almost tempted to discard Torment of Hellfire because we need to make land drops. I guess we hold on to it because, yeah, let's do that. Let's go and get rid of Swamp. And then we have the land drop for next turn, and then we've got double... We've got double Hero's Downfall and Murder's Rider on the Planeswalkers out there. That way we can really unleash the fury. Yeah, we got to deal with Oko, and we got to deal with Tamio. I was thinking about going Hero's Downfall and Murder's Rider. Ooh, Mystical Tutor. And that'll be, we can find an answer for Jodah. Yeah, this is good. So let's drop in Bloodstained Mire. Let's go... because we could try to dig out of this one with a 3-3 out there. So we go Murderous Rider on Jodah, Hero's Downfall on Skitter. I'm just ready to be done with Planeswalkers, I think. Yeah, because this is rough, because we can get rid of both of these, clear the way. Then they go for Oko again, they can go for the -3, take our Gilded Lotus, and then we don't have a creature to swing in. Because we don't really want to untap with an open Jodah either. Because we can Mystical Tutor for spot removal, and then just keep our fingers crossed that it does stick around. So the question is, do we go Hero's Downfall, Murderous Rider on these creatures, start swinging in with a 3-3 Beast token, trying to take care of them, or do we just take care of the Planeswalkers and be done with Oko? I think we've got to... yeah, I think we just got to go double Planeswalkers on this one. I'm not super wild about this one, but I think it's what we got to do. Let's tap down for black, tap down for colorless. Let's go Swift End on Oko. Let's go for Hero's Downfall on Tamio. And then, yeah, we'll take care of them. Yeah, we got to do this. So let's go Hero's Downfall. I mean, not super wild about this, but we can make it work. There we go. So tap down Halimar Depths for one more black. That way we got triple black on Hero's Downfall. So we take care of Tamio. And that's just going to leave an open Jodah. So they will have stuff to go for with Hero's Downfall. And we have an open Mystical Tutor, but I think what we'll end up doing is just passing the turn. Because we've already ripped through Toxic Deluge. We've already ripped through Damnation. So I think the only other board wipe that we have is Crux of Fate. So we can end up going for Crux of Fate. That does hit the reset button. And so kind of depending on what they end up doing this turn, we might end up going Mystical Tutor for some spot removal on Jodah. But then I don't even know how many times Jodah's been sent back to the command zone. It's got to be, I think, twice now. So we're looking at 9. That'd be 11 mana. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah? All right, that's going to be Kaya. And then, oh my goodness. Oh goodness, okay. That's going to be Atraxa off of the, which is probably one of the, it's probably one of the best things you can hit on Jodah Super Friends. Okay, so that's going to be Kaya. Put a Ghost Form counter on Jodah. It gains whenever the creature dies or exiles, return it to its owner's hand. And create a spirit token. Okay, so we do have Rift that we can end up going for. That's going to hit the reset button on Rift. I have to redeploy out. So that's something that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, we can Rift, but I feel like Rift is just delaying the inevitable. Okay, so we got Jodah swinging across for 7. Whenever, yeah. So we block with Gilded Lotus as a 3-3. I mean, there's... did we just chump block on this one? Now, I guess we take it. Yeah, we'll take the 7. We'll try to block for next turn. Okay, so we'll see. Let's see what we can do. All right, so it's going to put us down to 24. And then we've got an open Mystical Tutor to untap for next turn into whatever we want to rip into. Like I said, we can find Cyclonic Rift, but we end up going Cyclonic Rift. That puts us in just hitting the reset button. And then they've got enough mana to basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, redeploy Jodah out. And then another 4 mana for Atraxa. Which I guess that kind of hits the reset button. Yeah, I guess let's just go Mystical Tutor. Let's see if this sticks. I mean, we're just taking a turn off. I mean, it's just almost kind of like a time walk, and then we're right back into Jodah, into Atraxa, and then they get a Jodah with an open Atraxa, which I'm not super wild about. So I guess we just go Crux of Fate that hits the reset button, and then we try to assemble. We can try to go for another Stroke of Genius to draw some cards. Because if we Stroke of Genius, we're looking at 13 next turn. That's really going to be 14 total commander damage. If we just Crux of Fate, we re-hit the board. Yeah, I guess we just got to go Crux of Fate. I'm not super wild about this. It's going to send Jodah back to the hand. But I guess we just go Crux of Fate. Let's see, yeah. If Crux of Fate gets countered, and I think that may be it on this one. So, all right, so let's go Crux of Fate. Let's get Crux of Fate down. Destroy all non-dragon creatures, which is the correct thing that we're going for. There we go. Tap down for 1 color. Let's tap down for 1 more. Let's go Crux of Fate. Let's see if this is good. That's going to get rid of everybody on our side of the battlefield. And then, if they've got counter magic, they're going to be able to stop it. If not, let's see what this is. And that is going to be a hard counter Force of Will. Alright, so that's going to stop Crux of Fate. We've got an ultimate with Kaya next turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, whenever you cast a legendary spell from your hand, graveyard, from among cards you don't exile without paying its mana cost. Okay, and that's just going to be Tameo. Yeah. So we're looking at the ultimate. There's just not much else we do. We're going to go and scoop it up on this one. Good game to our opponent. That was a very good... Where's the chat? Where'd chat go? Let's see if we can get the chat pulled up. Looks like it's not going to pull it up. So, yeah, we're going to go and scoop it up on this one. Good game to our opponent. They got the ultimate next turn. As much as I'd love to see them have a lot of fun, it's basically just going to be... they get the -7. They're going to get more free Jodah stuff going. And then with the Traxa in the air, and with Jodah just being a 7/7, I mean, it's just... We're just delaying the inevitable, unfortunately. So, yeah, we're just kind of running into a little bit of stuff. So, we tried to get the game established. We had a Sheoldred, we had Tezzeret, but unfortunately, our opponent had answers for everything that we were going. We did get really lucky. Murderous Rider and Hero's Downfall. But unfortunately, free spells off of Jodah, and especially hitting a Traxa off of Kaya. Hey, that's going to get it on that one. So, good game to our opponent. It was really cool to see a Jodah deck kind of go off like that. And if you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed your time at Mr. Bones Wild Ride, hey, like and subscribe, and happy Halloween. All right, bye.